Hello everyone, it's me, Lola Jovan, back with the weekly vlog, which is the audio and video version of my written blog, which you can find over at www.lolajovan.com. This week we're talking about this big painting here, which is called Resolute. It's oil on panel, it's 24 by 18 inches. And here are the words that I selected to go with it. I want to be a mountain, live oak limbs and black gum roots. I want a base, ample and unshakable, thick and steady, storm ready, resolute. And that is an excerpt from a poem by L.E. Bowman. I don't know about you, but I grew up powerless in the shadows of the powerful. Voiceless, though I raised the alarm, and invisible, though I tried very hard to be seen. It was a bit like standing at the base of a mountain. Well, more like standing at the base of a mountain with it abutting the ocean at one side of me and the sneaker waves crashing against the other side of me, the cliff face looming straight above me in a vertical. Whoa. It is, in real life, a formula for drowning, and not a great way to grow up. So I never wanted to be the sea, though I love it, with its unpredictable temperament and grabbiness. I wanted to be the mountain, unshakable and storm-ready. Perhaps that's why standing on top of a pinnacle at the end of hours of hiking feels both triumphant and holy. This upbringing of mine and the subsequent lifetime accumulation of survival skills, which I used awkwardly and inelegantly, somehow became the very fuel needed for writing the book Monstrous. And rather than tell you the story of writing the book, the pages, the rewrites, the illustrations and hours and months and so on, I'm instead going to share a little excerpt from the book, which perhaps tells it better. So here we go. Be careful what you wish for, but do keep wishing. In a nondescript Midwestern town somewhere in the early 1970s, a middle schooler sat at a desk in geography class writing short horror stories. The instructor had a monotonous voice, and as I recall, he wore his sweater vest inside out. So writing was the way to stay alert, as well as a way to delight classmates when stories were passed from desk to desk. The middle school girl had dark, unruly hair, thick glasses, bumps on her face, and hairy legs. Was she a witch? If only. A few spells might have worked against the monsters at home. In the meantime, writing horror stories made the real horrors seem somehow less. 50 years later, 50 years. The now-grown girl receives a missive from a magical being inviting her to write and illustrate a book. She raises an eyebrow, waiting for the catch, but instead finds the door opened to a world outside of the box. Rules abandoned, caution thrown to the wind, just waiting for her. "Where do I sign?" she yells. And a contract lands in her lap. 15 months, 60 illustrations, and a dozen stories later, a book is born under the practiced and expert eye of the magical being who happens to be an enchantress and book doula. Somewhere in the time loop, a middle schooler is screaming with joy, jumping on her desk and shouting, "Take that, you fucking monsters!" She accepts detention for swearing and marches off to gleefully serve her time. About the art. Beginning with an old oil painting on a flat panel, I roughed on top of it a basic mountainous scape with bold strokes of oil paint and a brush. Drawing on our hikes along the rugged Oregon coast, where waves crash ominously against tall vertical cliffs and rocks, but without using a reference photo, I worked with big shapes and broad brush strokes. This piece took over 5 weeks, where drying time between the layers allowed me to come back in and build color layers while scraping back enough to let some of the underpainting shine through. finishing with a palette knife to add rough highlights and white caps to the waves, a wet brush through the sky to drag paint over the mountains and give you a little sense of the wind that is well known here on the Oregon coast. So that's all I've got for you today. If you stay tuned to the end of the video, you will see this painting framed and in situ, and you'll see the book reveal promotional video for Monstrous. I hope you'll go order it. It is a limited edition. There aren't very many copies, and I'm just thrilled that it is now coming into the world. Thank you so much. Please remember to go over to my website, www.lolajavon.com, and subscribe so you'll never miss a bit of malarkey or monsters. See you next week. Bye.